learned that you don't have to live in the worst places, even though you go through the worst things in life. You can live in a place of joy, even when your heart's broken. A lot of times we turn to the worst because we almost want to hurt. We almost feel like we're obligated to hurt. Like we almost look like we're not even allowed to have happy days anymore because we lost someone. Like if we're laughing, we say that person can't laugh with us, so I'm not allowed to laugh. But that's the furthest thing from the truth.
You are now locked in for the Comeback Kings podcast. Let's go!
All right, fellas, listen up. I'm about to let you in on a little secret that could save you thousands of dollars every single year. Why keep spending big money every month just to watch your favorite shows and sports, especially when there's Renegade TV? I used to pay monthly for YouTube TV, Prime, Netflix, Disney Plus, and because I couldn't catch my favorite teams locally, I had to drop even more money on NFL Sunday tickets, NBA League Pass, MLB TV. It was sickening. Then I found Renegade TV. One device, one low price, and you get live access to every major sports league, NFL, NBA, MLB, UFC, you name it, you got it. You also get all the newest releases and thousands of movies and shows on demand. No subscriptions, no monthly fees, no hidden fees, just one setup and you're set. So now I'm saving hundreds of dollars every month and easily thousands every single year. So go to streamrenegadetv.com and use code CBK2025 to save $50 at checkout. What's up, Kings? Welcome back for another episode of the Comeback Kings podcast. I'm your host, AJ, Aaron James. I'm so glad you're here with us. Today, we've got another fire show lined up for you. And I can't wait for you to meet this King. This is one of my good friends. Actually, we played high school basketball together, so we go way back in the day. I'm not going to tell anybody how old that makes us, but for sure, it's been a minute, right? But so excited for you to hear this gentleman's story. Well, let me say this before I even introduce him. I am excited, and I am also extremely nervous. And I don't get nervous. You guys have seen, this is not the first episode with this. I am extremely nervous because I do know the topic that we're going to talk about today. It is a little bit sensitive, but it's necessary, right? Because it's life. And so glad to have him with us here. I'm not even going to get too much further into it. I want to introduce Mr. Markus Harris. What's up, baby? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How's everybody doing out there?
They're doing good.
Doing real well. Glad to be on the show.
Yes, sir, man. They can't talk back to you just yet, but they'll be in the chats afterwards. Yeah. But thank you so much for taking the time. And I know we've probably been talking about doing this episode for the better part of 6 months now, right? Has it been that long, or maybe a little bit longer than that?
Trying to get everything lined up, man. It's been tough, but I knew it was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen, man.
It was going to happen. So
there was no way I was going to miss this. No way.
Well, I appreciate it. And so I just need to let everybody know before I let you introduce yourself, I do need to let everybody know that we did talk about our age earlier, but you actually are even older as of right now. So happy birthday, my brother. Congratulations, King. Glad for another trip around the sun for you, man. So do this, man. So,
yes, I am as well.
Yeah, I know that's right. The alternative is kind of bleak, right? So
yeah, I don't need it right now. You're hell.
Well, I want to do this because, we've got Kings that are listening in, hopefully all around the world. Okay. And we all know how the show goes, but I certainly would love for you to just introduce yourself so people know who you are and talk to us about what you're excited about right now, what you got going on in life, what your successes are, and then we'll just get into it. So go ahead. The floor is yours, man.
Again, like you said, my name is Markus Harris. If you don't know who I am I'm a high school basketball coach, high school football coach, I work in school administration. I also am a mentor in the school as well. Outside of that, I own a business where I'm a screenwriter and I produce films. My company is called Inspire Life Productions. We are in the middle of filming 3 films this year. We filmed the film last year and premiered it to raise it to monumental success. The film was named The Walk. Very near and dear to my heart. Like I said, we're filming a comedy right now. First time writing a comedy. The comedy is going to be called The Shop.
Now,
we may change that, alter that name.
Wait,
but
hold on a minute. I got to know first. Yeah. Are you in the movie or you just wrote the movie? You in the movie?
I am in the, without giving too many details, I play a character, I play a villainous character named Nino Black.
Oh, my
that's so, yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, it's comedic. And I do act in some of the films. That's not really what I, love to do. I love to create. I love to be behind the camera, but some of the roles require me to, my demeanor on screen. And if it furthers the story, I'm gonna get out there and get active.
Right.
But on this one, there's no smiling at Nino Black.
It doesn't sound like it. Yeah. I mean, I think of Nino Brown, and then we start thinking Nino Black. I think that's even just one shade a little darker, right? Just
a little darker. It fits. Well, no, Wesley might have me on this one. Wesley might have me.
Wesley should have been Nino Black. Yeah. Sure.
Nino Black. And with that, we also have several short films that we're working on this year that we're going to put in some really prestigious film festivals.
How'd you get into all of that?
To be honest with you, I've been writing for like 10 years. And I would start and stop because, life is happening. I'm married with children. I'm sure I got to make money.
Right.
And it wasn't making income at the time. So sometimes, when you have an ability to do something and you put it off too long, eventually one day you're like, I got to either do it or don't.
That's right.
And it was like too strong of a call to kind of, for lack of a better term. And I really started to really write and really see if I'm pretty good at this. And I shared it with some other people in the film industry, and they thought I've been writing for decades, like really writing these. I'd never written a script before, really. It's like, hey, write a script. All right, I'll go home and try it. And because of that, I got a lot of backing from other people who are in the industry already, people who have been working on like The Walking Dead, Grey's Anatomy, what's the show? Godfather of Harlem. Those people kind of reached out to me and they want to do more work with me. And I'm amazed by that. I just can't believe that. Again, I thank God for that because that's something I never expected. So I kind of got into it once I shared my work, and some others reached out and they really liked what they saw. Man,
that's what's up, man. So you didn't go to school for this at all. It just was a labor of love.
No, labor of love. My degree is in business administration, and I have another degree in like religious studies. I know this is just something I just started to do, and I said I'm a pretty good storyteller.
Okay.
The comedy, telling you right now, writing a comedy is crazy. I went to a stand-up comedy show. And for a friend of mine, I saw these comedians. I said, they do skits and things of that nature. Right. And I said, I think I might have something for you that, may further everybody's career. And I wrote these characters, and I wrote the script in 3 weeks. And 3 weeks later, we're filming.
No wonder I can't get a hold of you, man.
Yeah, that's how
you're up there writing scripts in 3 weeks.
Hey, when I'm locked in, I call it going 0 dark 30. When I go into that role, that mode where I got to write, I got to lock in. Yeah. I just put a little something in my ear to listen to some music or something, and I'm locked in. I got to lock in, and I just listen to what makes sense for the story I'm telling. If it's comedic, I want something a little more. I want something a little more up tempo. If it's something where it's more dramatic, I want something more subtle, and get that feeling that you're looking for. Yeah. And I just write, man. Just write good, and I don't really worry about as long as I like it. At the end of the day, and as long as it makes sense to me, I feel like I can share it with the world.
Don't forget, the conversation continues inside the CBK mobile app. This is the premier community for content, conversations, and resources, all built to help our kings get back on track. Inside the app, you'll get exclusive after-show clips, direct access to podcast guests, and insider interviews with industry experts on everything from health and wealth to relationships and spirituality. You'll also unlock member-only deals designed for the needs of real men. plus tools and training to fuel your personal comeback. Come network with fellow kings from around the world and be a part of the global movement, helping men rise from setbacks and rebuild a life that they're proud of, with purpose, strength, and community. Join the movement now. Download the free Comeback Kings mobile app at cbknetwork.com.
So you, do you write the jokes as well?
Yes, which is crazy. If you remember back in the day on the basketball team, I was actually kind of funny.
Yes, I do. I wondered if you was going to talk about it, but yes, I do.
Yeah, I was kind of funny. And so writing the jokes, what helped was watching the comedians first.
Uh-huh.
Then it helped me write the jokes. I'm like, this guy plays this type of character, so I could write for him. But the jokes they actually were funny. I was like, if the comedians laugh, I know it's funny.
Right.
I'm not going to post them. These dudes do this for a living. So writing the jokes and writing for people, the comedy for me personally is something I never thought I would be writing. The other stuff comes easy. The comedic part of it, I'm like just going back in the day to when, all of us were on the basketball team capping on each other.
Right. And and the people that couldn't cap, they hid in the back. They didn't even want to laugh at the jokes just in case, you'd be like, oh, what you laughing at? And they come at you.
Yeah.
We're not going to say no names on this podcast, but.
I'm not going to say no names. I ain't going to put nobody out there today. Not today.
Right.
I was one of the ones that wasn't hiding. I wasn't hiding.
No. Okay, so we've got a comedy, and the walk is not a comedy, right? The walk is completely separate.
No.
But you said that you were working on the name for the comedy, or you have it?
We're working on a name. So right now it's The Shop.
Okay.
It may stay The Shop. I call it some hot ghetto mess, right? Okay. but The Shop makes sense for the story itself.
Okay.
And I think you guys will really enjoy it. I think it's going to be funny. Once we get a filmmaker, we're going to actually put together something. I want to do where we have dinner, we have a little stand up, we maybe have a little music, and then we premiere the film and do something where it's just a real big event, make it cool for the city. Mm-hmm. And then, continue to share it. Not just, I know I want to go to a streaming service if it's well done, but I really like to do stuff where I can feel people in the audience. I can be there and hear their reactions. And, I love those things because you want people to go on this ride with you. Mm-hmm. They laugh at it, they joke, and I want it to be funny together,
Right.
So it's going to be something. And I got some cool things in the works, man. I'm like, after this comedy, we're filming, and these they're unnamed as of yet.
Okay.
We're filming two dramatic short films they're going to be being filmed, I believe, mid-February and early March. The scripts were already done for those. They're going to we really want people to think these are going to be in prestigious film festivals. So we're going to place them in multiple festivals. So we really have to really lock in. I'm working with a massive team with this. I have a film that we're working on called The Zone. If you look, some of y'all know I'm from Lincoln Heights, Ohio. Lincoln Heights, Ohio. I'm from Lincoln Heights, and that Zone 15 thing. Woodline's right there, and you got Lockland down the street, and even into Wyoming, and just kind of paying respects to where I come from in that story. That film, we expect it to be something big. We expect it to bring money into the community of Lincoln Heights and do some cool things there. That's a massive team. It's a lot of moving parts. I got another film, Warriors United. We're going to continue to film. We filmed half of it in the winter. We're going to film the other half in the spring. So we got a lot on our plate, brother. We got a lot on our plate.
I am curious about this because when I think about, the films that we watch, however we're watching these films, I know there's a lot of moving parts behind the scene, but writing is just one part of it, right? The writing gets it kicked off, but so what do you have to do? Do you have to go through, fundraising? What's the process when you've got a script in your hand and you want to do something with it?
Yes, you generally have to go through fundraising, unless you have a donor, unless you have somebody who wants to, or a donor or investor, someone who wants to invest into the film. But generally you have to do a fundraising project what's crazy is because the people that I've read, the scripts that I've written have been so excited about it. I haven't had to do any fundraising.
Nice.
It's the funds have been there. It's actually, I'm shocked by it to some degree. Like, as you said, I didn't go to school for this. It's a labor of love, but I'm extremely passionate about it because I know that being able to tell that story is huge, but generally you have to do fundraising. You have to shop it around to multiple people, multiple studios, multiple executives. And I'm sure some of our larger projects that we're going to do in the future, we're going to have to do so. But if you do these projects now, you do them well, then you get more, people are going to, be more willing to invest into you,
Sure.
seeing the work that you do now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So we might need to get a link at the bottom of this or inside of the app where people can donate to the cause for some of the stuff that you've got coming up in the future. But I'm real proud of you that you've got that going on. So what else you got going on?
Well, I'm a basketball coach, so basketball and football coach. I'm in the throes of the season right now. Prior to working in a high school, I was working at a place called Watkins Technology. I was a sales manager.
Okay.
And because of some of the things I went through in my life that were real tragic, I decided to come back to the school to be able to pour into other people. This is what's most important. As much as the writing is as important as it is, people are more important than anything else that we do. So now being in a high school, working here, having a mentorship program, coaching, which is kind of a natural progression for former athletes.
Yep.
But being able to do it in a place that allows you to really pour into the young people is what we're talking about, because they need it, man. They really do need it. I mean, so often they need that. People always talk about tough love, but you got to be tough, but you also got to show love because they need it. You never know what these young people are going through. They're they're learning how to be emotionally intelligent. And so they don't understand when bad things happen, how to deal with it. Heck, we don't really understand.
Right.
When bad things happen, how do we deal with it? So you can imagine being, a 14-year-old, a 15-year-old, a 16-year-old, and you're like, how do I navigate these waters? I'm in the same school where my youngest son's at, who just comes to me, Dad, he needs money every day. He likes it now.
He likes it? Oh man. I
don't really, he likes it now. You know why? Cause he wants to get money every day.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And I'm not one of those dads where everything he does, I want to know. I'm like, unless he does something, he doesn't really get in trouble or anything of that nature. But you know what I mean? Yeah. Whereas he did what? He was a second late for class. And I don't do that.
Brother,
you have to do something for you.
Man, my mom was a superintendent, so I couldn't get away with nothing in school, man.
I know.
And it wasn't even the same school district, but they'd be like, I'm going to tell your mama, right? Like, and you know how it is, right? When you get in trouble, normally it's like, I'm going to tell your daddy. But when it comes to school stuff, I wasn't worried about my pops. Like, he wasn't going to say anything. But my mom,
she wasn't playing.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't playing.
And everybody knew.
Nice woman. Nice woman to everybody else but you. I'm
right.
Just playing.
Man, I see people in the restaurants and they be like, oh, I love your mama. She's so nice. I'm like, huh? My mama? The one that just wore my ass out before we came out the
house? Hey, she was a sweetheart, man. Your family is amazing. Your family is still amazing. Awesome people, man.
Thank you, man.
Awesome people.
Thank you. This show was not supposed to be about them. Like, we were going to talk about what you got going on, but for a minute, I was empathizing with your son for having, his daddy in the same school with him because, that can change. You can't even Mac the same when your daddy's walking down the hallway, so.
Yeah. I just turn my head, walk the other way. As long as listen, do your thing, son.
If you stay in those hallways, I'll stay in my hallways, right? Okay.
Yeah. So what's funny is when some of the girls that I know kind of like him come to me and they want to know information. I say, you got to talk to him. Yeah. You're not gonna get. They want the 411 on him. Like, no. You got to talk to him, young lady. Yeah. But because I'm in the building and I'm pretty accessible. So I build real good rapport with all the students. This is my youngest, so I have 4 children, four children. And, they all play college sports, and he's kind of on his way to doing the same thing.
Good for you, man. Good for you. I'm so glad to hear that. And I'm glad to hear that just in general, because I know you and I know how good you are at everything that you do and your heart and everything else like that. I'm also glad because I know that, you've had a setback recently, right? And we talk a lot about those here on this show because it's all about the comeback, right? It's not about necessarily how good you're doing for how long. There's always ups and downs, but you had a very profound and very public setback. And I remember, and just to kind of tee this up before we talk about it, I remember where I was when I heard the news. And
wow.
When it's people that you know and friends, there's always this awkward thing where, do I reach out, right? Do they need one more person in their ear at this time where they're grieving? And so as you tell this story, I need everybody here to understand that I'm hearing it for the first time as well. I'll ask the questions and, you share whatever you feel comfortable sharing, but,
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll leave it there. So I know you want to talk about something specific. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Well, first and foremost, like I said, I have four children, three boys, Chuck, Traymar, and Jada. And I have my daughter, Deia Wynn. She's my stepdaughter, but I raised her since she was 2. So she's my daughter. Mm-hmm. And in October 19th, 2023, while she slept in her bed, she was doing awesome in life, doing really well, 26 years old, doing awesome, but just got a new promotion, doing well. She was helping a friend kind of get on his feet, guy that she went to school with. They've been friends for years. And why we still don't know, but he shot her one time when she was sleeping and she died instantly. Unfortunately, my wife and I kind of, we talk to our children all the time. She texted, my daughter says, send a text message to me like every day. Mm-hmm. And I didn't get a message that day. I didn't get a response that day. And this young man, they, like I said, been friends for years. So I know,
so you knew him?
Yeah, I knew him. He's been in my house before. I've held his baby in my arms. Right now he's in prison for a minimal 30 years because of this. But that night, and I always tell people the events of that night, I can tell that story once. So if I talk about it, I just talk about it, and I don't speak about it. Because it does take something out of you. But I think it's important to tell the story. That day for me will always be the worst day of my life, and there's not a close second. October 19, 2023 is by far the worst day I've lived on this earth. And there's no way around it. So that particular night, having spoken to her, it was really late at night. My wife and I are in the house. And we decided we were going to go over there because we went over there, and when we go to her apartment, all her lights are out. And, that's kind of weird, generally like a front light in. But what had happened that day is the electricity went out for some reason, which ended up being good for my wife and I. And I'll explain why in a minute. Okay. So we go there, we go to the door, we knock on the door. The guy who had shot her was there, which wasn't a surprise because I knew that he was there in between work, or like he was trying to get on his feet, and she let him sleep on the couch.
So he was staying there. Okay.
Yeah, he was staying there. So that wasn't a surprise. So he let us in, and the cop said later that he wanted to barricade the door, but he was afraid of me. That's what the cop said. So he opened the door. And the question I said is, hey, have you spoken to Deasia? Is she here? And he said, I don't know. I said, I don't know if she's here, but I did speak to her earlier today because her car wasn't there as well. I'm sorry, I'm leaving out details, but her car wasn't there as well. And I'll tell you why in a second, but I hadn't spoken to her. I spoke to her earlier and said I got into an accident in her car. So pitch black dark. It's like almost midnight. The house is dark. You can't see anything. I walk to the back. It's just like a little moonlight. And I go into her room and I see her laying there. I think she's asleep. That's what she looks like. And doesn't look like anything happened to her. Doesn't look hurt, just looks asleep. And, try to wake her up, and she doesn't wake up. And I turn her over and realize there's a little bit of blood. There's blood on her nose. And I'm screaming out now, call 911. I'm doing CPR, and the guy's acting, he's doing an acting job like he's really afraid as well. Like he's really like, oh my God, what happened? And I have a weapon on me. And be honest with you, man, if I knew what happened, it could have ended a different way. But because we were in the darkness, I could barely see. I just knew that she wasn't breathing. And any father, you're going to try and save your child. And when the police got there, they got there in moments. When they finally got there, and the ambulance got there, it was over. It was over. And they said she had been gone all day. Once I heard that, I'm like, I'm ready to, then I know the boy lied. And I'm ready to, you can imagine.
But the cops are there now, so it's.
Yeah, they know what I want to do.
Right.
And they actually almost surround me, not to arrest me, but because they know what I want to do now. And I said, he lied. He lied about this. Now, what unbeknownst to me, earlier that day.
Can I ask you a question just real quick about that? So yes, you said she was bleeding out of her nose. So you couldn't tell that she had been shot?
No, you couldn't. If you're shot she was shot with a 22. A 22 doesn't do the damage of a big gun.
Okay.
So it's more like, the bullets more like shatter. So you couldn't tell she had an aneurysm or something like that. That because something else medically that took place.
Yeah.
I never would think that she would have been killed. Like she wasn't into the streets. She wasn't anything like that. And no one was looking for her. She hadn't been abused or nothing like that. So that was, you couldn't imagine anything like that taking place. But what had happened earlier that day, after he did it, he drove around with her car thinking about escaping. He drove up to a bank and was trying to break into the bank and break into the people's cars. And he ended up getting pulled over with her car. Yeah, I know. He got pulled over with her car. They found the weapon, but obviously they didn't know at the time a murder happened, and they impounded the vehicle. So they already had the murder weapon, and they already had her car. If he would have had that weapon when my wife and I came through that door, he could have killed us immediately. But because of that happened earlier that day, we're still here today because we had no reason to suspect he did anything or anybody did anything. This is the hardest part of that after after everything that took place was telling my sons. That as hard as everything was with it, doing the CPR and knowing she's gone, once it kind of sunk in, having to tell these young men that your sister is not coming back, won't be there for the holidays, won't be able to call you anymore. That sucked. So of all the things that took place, there's nothing like that. That was beyond painful. Brother, it was, that's tough. That was tough. That was really tough. Now, after everything took place, this is on a Thursday. My son who plays for Purdue University as a wide receiver right now, probably going to start and play really well this year. And my daughter was the one who suggested he go to Purdue, which is funny. But anyway, he had a football game the next day. Obviously, you don't got to play. You just lost your sister. You just lost it. Our family's in disarray. Yeah. As a man, as father, you I got to stand firm. But bro, I'm brokenhearted beyond belief. Then my wife is brokenhearted beyond belief. My sons are there. Everybody's broken here. Praying about it, but you're mad at God. You're mad at everybody. You're mad at everything. And my son and I had a conversation. He said, "Dad, do you think I should play the game the next day?" And I said, "She probably will want you to play, but you don't have to." Yeah. But he said to me, "But Dad, you're carrying the family. I want to do it I want to carry their family for a moment like you have. And, what do you say when your son says something like that? Jesus. And I said, bro, whatever you do, we're going to be there and we're going to cheer for you and support you, because just like your sister would if she was right here. Right. My son has all the Winton Woods receiving records right now. He's broken all the records. That night, the next night he went out and played and had the best game of his high school career. Like, it was, when I talk about that one, it actually makes me a little emotional, because, to still stand firm in that, that's pretty cool. And all the family to be able to stand and do those things. And my youngest son had a basketball tryout with this real prestigious team on that Saturday. And after he saw his brother do that, he's like, I'm going to make that team. And I'm going to wear number 15 in honor of her, because she played college basketball. She wore 15. And I don't think he missed a shot in the tryout. It's like he made that team, that was pretty exceptional. So what those young men were able to do in that moment, and their brother, her older brother, he went into life insurance and things of that nature to kind of honor her life, because he just wants to be able to do something to touch her, my wife and I. And, so going through that process, I started to, I know it's long-winded, but this is, when I start going with it, I got to kind of get it out of here.
Please.
You know what I mean? Get it out.
Please.
So the days prior to her funeral, I started doing a walk every day, and I'll walk and talk to God. And, I'm mad, not because she's not here in a sense. I'm more mad because I didn't get a chance to say goodbye. All those things that you think. You're thinking everything. You're thinking so many things in that moment. And God reminded me of a story that I wrote 10 years prior called The Walk. And The Walk was about a family that lost a child. And he said, I'm going to be with you all. This is how I felt in my spirit feeling this. I'm going to be with you and your family. I'm going to help carry you through this. I know it's hard, but I have her. She's with me. You will see her again one day. I'm going to give you peace even when you're mad at me, even when you're upset. I want you to write that again. And I want you to pay tribute to her within the story. And I want you to use actors that have lost a child like you guys have. And I couldn't even think straight, brother.
This is just God talking to you. This is just God talking to you, telling you what he wants.
Yes. It's like, and so I took that film, The Walk, and I modified it to include, and to talk about her, to honor her. And it took me 2 hours to write. It was just 2 hours, because obviously there was tears on that page, obviously. I wanted to write that by hand. I wanted to really have that touch on it, And, I knew no one who could film this, no one who could do anything with this, no one. Everything lined up after that. And so that first film that we did, The Walk, was my wife and I played in that film. And the other people in the film lost their children. And that was our love letter to our daughter. And to be able to pour into other people who have had that same level of pain, because there's nothing like it, bro. Like, there's no comparison to anything else that I've ever felt. I would rather fight a bear with my bare hands than go through this pain, because whatever that bear could inflict on me is nothing compared to that heart-wrenching pain that losing, my only girl could ever have. And this is the crazy thing, man, is that several months later, we're going into filming. We're still raw with pain. It took me months for my brain to even be able to function like normal. And the set of The Walk was awesome. It was so much fun. It was so joyful. It felt like how she was when she lived. So the experience was amazing. You think that experience is you think you're going to cry every 5 minutes, but we didn't. We was laughing and joking and remembering, and there were tears that flowed, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But it was unbelievable. And, her message touched so many people's lives after that. It was, just people who never met her felt like they knew her because of all the awesome things that were said about her. And we've done multiple events honoring her in every film, in every single film that I'll ever do. Her favorite color was purple. Any film that I write, I do, there has to be something purple in the background or somewhere prominent. It's just like it's my personal little tribute to her. But what I did also after that was I knew I couldn't go back to the same job. It wasn't meaningful. I needed to do something job. Else. Yes. Mm-hmm. I knew that I didn't want I remember that young man when he was young and who he was young, and he deteriorated into something else. And what happens to a lot of our young people, and I'm not excusing him at all for what he did. He got to serve his time. He got a service punishment. He earned that. But a lot of our young people, they leave out of high school without a plan, without anything. They're broken young men and women going into the real world with no college, no trade school, nothing. They just going out there, no military. They don't know what to do. They're lost. So you put these broken people in the world and say, go ahead and survive. And they deteriorate as men and women. And they don't have anything. And so I said, I could do one or two things. My wife can do one or two things. My family can do one or two things. We could go and start drinking more and smoking and doing all these things that would, and being an addict, being in deep depression, even though you hurt, you don't want to be lost in, utter destruction. You can
and by the way, I don't think that anybody would blame you if that's, if
no
you
doubt,
turn
no
to
doubt
a
about
bottle
it.
for something like this.
But there was something I said to her, and this is why it was important that I did not do this. She said to me, Dad, I don't know what I would do if something happened to you. I don't know what I would do if something would ever happen to you, Mom, or any of us, like anybody. I couldn't imagine it. And I said, well, don't do anything where you destroy yourself. Just honor our lives in the way that you live. So I said to her, and I said, if anything ever happened to you, God forbid, this is my words to her then, I promise you I would honor your life by the way that I live. That's what I told her. So I made that promise. There was no way I was breaking that promise. So going to the school was an opportunity for me able to be able to be here and pour into the kids and pour love and discipline and everything that they need and work with these kids. The kids that are kind of lost, like, I don't know where I want to go next, to be able to get them to that next chapter, be able to prepare them for this next chapter, to be able to show them it's a better way, to be able to help them when they have these broken pieces in their heart, to really be able to pour into these young men and women. It's of the utmost importance to me. As a matter of fact, it's so important that every day I'll stand out, like almost out front, and greet every single kid that I can that comes to this building. I try to get them all, because I want them to know you are loved and you're cared for. And that honors her. And her number, because she played high school basketball, college basketball, her number is retired in Winton Woods High School because of the impact that she made. So it's like, I have to do this. It's not a want. It's like, I got to be here. I got to pour into these babies. And you're seeing it happen. You're seeing it pay dividends. You're seeing it, these kids' lives start to change. And because I made that promise to her. And other byproduct of this was, brother, after this happened, I was dumb for a while. And what I mean by that is, I would go to a store that I drive to every day. I would get my car to go home. And I'm like, how do I get home? Like your brain, like a part of you shuts off for a second. Or you do something you do all the time, like you got to export something to Excel that you do at work all the time. You're like, I don't remember how to do it. I don't remember how to do basic stuff. Like it's like, these are things I do all the time. Right. And I'm sure this happens to other people when they truly have a broken heart. But that creative side of myself, that other part of myself was elevated. And it's funny I'm saying this from this movie. You've seen the movie The Five Heartbeats. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. And that was the movie is Black classic, right? But there's a scene in the movie where where the guy Robert Townsend's character leaves the group, and he said and before he leaves the group, he says a little line. He says, "You'll become a writer. You'll become a better writer when you suffer more." And I remember hearing that line when I was a kid, not knowing what that meant. But that is what happened to me. Through the absolute worst, my writing was better. It's like I can see it. I can see the picture more. Like everything over here was fuzzy. In real life was fuzzy for a while. It was tough. It took about 2 years before I really felt, about a year and a half, I would say, before I really felt I could see again. That's the way I would describe it. But that part was elevated, and it's still elevated. And through my faith in God, through my wife standing with me and me standing with her, we've been married for over 22 years now. Through my children and my family members and my loved ones, we're able to make it here, and to be able to, you're not overcoming this, brother, but to be able to walk still and talk still and love still and not be bitter, know how to forgive and know how to love and know how to walk in power and grace, even in them days and those moments where you're hurting. Like today, now my daughter not being able to say happy birthday sucks. She would be the first one. But to have the joy and have the hope knowing that I'm going to see her again and be able to have that love with her again, and know that God encompasses me with love in this moment, even with a friend like yourself talking to me. This is all therapy for me. And my family is going to also be blessed because of it. So with that, I don't know if I've ever overcome it, but I learned to honor her life. I learned to walk again. I learned to live again. I learned that you don't have to live in the worst places, even though you go through the worst things in life. You can live in a place of joy, even when your heart's broken. So I got for you, man. So that's,
Brother.
I made it through it out here, brother. So sheesh. You almost got him.
You got me. You got me over here. So
I'm okay with it, man. That's a tough one, bro. But
normally,
thank you for letting me share.
Thank you, man. I mean, normally I ask a lot more questions, but shit, you was on a roll, and I don't think I could.
Yeah.
I mean, you touched on everything. And normally, I will ask somebody what's the turning point, right? You kind of answered. There is no turning point with something like this. It's just a gradual trying to honor her life, and you're doing a hell of a job with it, by the way. I mean, I am floored by the impact that you're making, not just with your films, but in the school, and
It's
my mama being in education for as long as she was, sometimes that's a thankless job, what you're doing up there, because you don't like, it's not like, oh man, I saved somebody from making a bad decision today. They might not make that bad decision or make the bad decision years from now, based off of, something that they learned from you. So just that you're paying it forward is freaking amazing, man.
And what's cool about it, man, is these kids do things to honor me. I was honored last year. Like a kid voted me like educator of the year. And I'm like, I think that's going to happen again this year, because kids they have like this thing during Thanksgiving. Who are you thankful for? And I have so many letters, I don't even know what to do with them anymore. I'm like, but I always put them somewhere prominently in my home. These kids write letters. I'm thankful for Mr. Harris, for Coach Harris, and so when I see that, it makes me smile, because I know that I'm making her proud. And I know that I'm honoring God who's kept me in the midst of this unimaginable pain. And my wife also works in the school district, and she's able to pour into kids as well. So, like, your family's like an institution. I'm like, man, it's more than that for us. the passion I have for these babies is, I wish I can quantify it, but I can't. I can't even put it into words. It's like if the sun came down to earth. That's how bright I feel that it would shine on these children, and how much I care about them, how much I want them to be successful. Because if they're able to do that, they can pour so much more into this world to change so much. Because change is necessary.
Yeah, it is. So, man. Can I ask you this as we wrap up here? Everybody's probably, got a couple tears the way I do right now. Some people are living this through empathy for you and what you've been through. Some people are living it and they're reliving something that's happened to themselves.
Yes.
What can you say to somebody who, because you mentioned the words heartbreak, right? And sometimes when we talk about heartbreak, it's I broke up with my girlfriend, whatever. This is a different type, a completely different type of heartbreak, but it's still heartbreak. So what can you say to my kings out there that are searching for a way to get back to living their purpose, or honoring somebody who passed in their lives, or getting back to some level of normalcy where they're not feeling dumb and numb?
I'm glad you asked that question. I'm very glad you asked that question. The walk, the story that I wrote, The Walk, and I'm gonna bring it home. The walk was about that. Was about where do you go after such unimaginable pain? Where do you go to? Where do you turn to? And a lot of times we turn to the worst because we almost want to hurt. We almost feel like we're obligated to hurt. Like if we almost look like we're not even allowed to have happy days anymore because we lost someone. Like if we're laughing, we say that person can't laugh with us, so I'm not allowed to laugh. But that's the furthest thing from the truth. That's a lie from the pits of hell. That is not true. So what I would tell someone is to walk to the most joyful places, have the most joyful people, the most loving people in your life. Go to the places that you're going to laugh, you're going to shed tears, you're going to hurt, it's going to happen. You got to deal with it. You're going to hurt no matter what. But men, kings, do not go into that dark place and live there. Don't do it. That place will destroy you, will destroy your marriages, will destroy your relationship with your children, with your family, will destroy you. Like, go to those places that pour love, joy, peace into you, that give you wisdom in the midst of this. Because sometimes we just don't understand and we need wisdom. And where do we go? And so if you have for example, if you have a family member or a friend who makes you laugh, talk to them. That laughter is needed. It's to your soul. It's like food for your soul. If you have a pet, and a pet like a dog or something, take the dog for a walk. That walk is needed for you and them. Like, it might be something that they do that just makes you smile. It makes you feel again. Don't bury your feelings. And if you hurt, shed them tears. Don't bury it in a bottle. Don't bury it in nothing else, because there's nothing there. It doesn't pay you back. So invest and pour in the things that pay you back in kind, with joy, with love, with peace. Give as much as you can. It's still going to hurt, but guess what you're going to be able to do? You're going to be able to put one foot in front of the other differently now. You're going to be able to start picking up that pace a little bit after a while. You're going to be able to start walking uphill again. You're going to look up one day and say, you know what? I'm moving forward, but I still carry the love and the memory of that person that I lost, because that's what they would want you to do. Walk in joy, walk in life, not walk in despair. That's what I got for you, brother.
God damn. Mark Harris, man, thank you. Thank you for taking the time with us.
Thank you.
We need to connect in person because, I just need to do that, man. I'm so glad to hear that you've taken this tragedy and you're doing the right things with it, and you're healing in your ways and honoring her name. So, yeah, man. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. So let's let the Kings go for today. And can you tell us how either we can connect with you or how we can connect with your projects? I mean, just let us know. I mean, obviously, when the app opens up, we'll be able to get everybody in the app and they'll be able to communicate with you through there. But any other promotional tips you've got, for how they can catch the walk or any of the new stuff coming?
So all of that stuff is upcoming. We're actually in works to like all the where we're going to premiere these again. What are we going to do? All that's in the works right now. So some of that stuff is I can't share just yet, but we're like probably 2 weeks away from me being able to share where everything's going to be.
Okay. Once you got it, man, I'll update this episode so whenever people are listening to this episode, they can come back and tap in with you. Is that fair?
Yes. That'd be perfect. Thank you, brother. And I appreciate you inviting me on. I pray and I hope that I'll be able to help somebody out there, and this is just meaningful for someone else. Kings, you guys got it, brother. You got it, Kings. I'm with you.
All right. Markus Harris, fellas. Man, I don't have anything else to say other than, you know what I say at the end of every show, your setbacks don't define you, your comebacks will. Until the next episode, peace.
That does it for another episode of the Comeback Kings podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe, leave us a review, and come join the after party inside the app at cbknetwork.com. And remember, your past doesn't define you, your comeback will.